Have you ever tried to sit still for 10 minutes, doing absolutely nothing? No phone, no music, nobody talking to you? If you're like 90% of people, you didn't even last 2 minutes before grabbing your phone. And that's not a lack of discipline, that's fear. A fear most of us don't even know we have. And the worst part is that this fear grows every single day, quietly, without anyone paying attention to it. You're probably living it right now, without even realizing it. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why silence has become one of the scariest things in modern life, what the Stoics understood about this over 2,000 years ago, and how you can turn that fear into one of the greatest sources of strength you've ever had. If you're still here, it's because something inside you has already felt this. Maybe you've been stuck in traffic, no music playing, and felt this weird restlessness building in your chest. Maybe you tried meditating and gave up after 30 seconds because your thoughts got unbearable. Or maybe you just avoid being alone with your own thoughts because deep down, you know something in there bothers you. This isn't weakness, it's just a pattern you never learned to deal with differently. And that's exactly the pattern we're going to break down together right now. This video is about that. And I promise, by the end, you're going to understand something about yourself that will change the way you live your everyday life. Let's get straight to it. We live in the noisiest era in human history, and paradoxically, it's the era where people can least handle silence. That's not a coincidence. It's a consequence. And the more noise we add to life, the less room is left to think clearly about anything that actually matters. It's a cycle that feeds itself. And most people never stop to notice it. Think about it. Just a few decades ago, people spent hours of the day with zero stimulation. They waited for the bus with no phone. They stood in line at the bank with nothing to do but look around. They ate dinner in silence, staring at the ceiling, thinking about life. That was normal. Maybe a little boring, but normal. Nobody thought it was strange to just sit there, staring at nothing, letting the mind wander with no direction. It was just part of living, and nobody felt the need to fill every single second with something. Today, that basically doesn't exist anymore. Every time you have a second of empty space, your instinct is to grab your phone. You're in the elevator? Phone. Waiting for food to arrive? Phone. In the bathroom? Phone. We've basically eliminated any possibility of real silence in our lives, and that comes with a price most people never stop to calculate. That price is invisible in the short term, but it builds up, and one day the bill arrives in the form of anxiety, mental exhaustion, or a constant feeling that something is missing, without knowing exactly what. The problem is that this habit isn't just about distraction. It's a symptom of something much deeper. We've lost the ability to be alone with our own minds, because our own minds, without outside stimulation, start showing us things we don't want to see. And this is exactly where the Stoics come into this conversation, because they understood this better than any modern neuroscience study. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote incredible letters about this almost 2,000 years ago. He said people run from themselves all the time, chasing parties, trips, distractions, exactly because they can't tolerate being alone with their own thoughts. He described this as a kind of sickness of the soul, something he constantly saw in wealthy Romans of his time, who had all the time in the world, but filled every second of it with noise, feasts, and entertainment, just to avoid facing the emptiness inside. And the most interesting part is that the more resources these people had to distract themselves, the more unhappy they seemed to be, because there was never any room left to stop and actually feel their own lives. Now, think about this. If this was already happening 2,000 years ago, without the internet, without phones, without social media, imagine how big the problem is today, when we literally have a device designed by engineers and psychologists to capture every second of our attention and never let us be alone with ourselves. That's the real problem this video wants to solve. We built an entire society around avoiding silence, and that's making us more anxious, more dependent on outside validation, and more disconnected from who we really are. Let's dig deeper into this, because I want you to understand exactly why this happens in your brain, not just in philosophical theory. When you're in silence, with no outside stimulation, your brain doesn't shut off. Quite the opposite. It enters something neuroscience calls the default mode network. It's basically your brain processing everything you've been avoiding processing all day. Worries, memories, regrets, fears about the future, all of it rises to the surface the moment you stop distracting yourself. And here's the important part. This isn't a flaw in your brain. This is your brain trying to do its job, which is to organize, process, and resolve the things pending inside you. The problem is, most people interpret this discomfort as something dangerous and run to whatever distraction is available to shut down that process. It's like trying to escape a pain in your body instead of finding out where it comes from. You can delay the discomfort, but it never really disappears. It just piles up somewhere more hidden. That's exactly why so many people feel weird, anxious, or even desperate when they go without their phone for too long. It's not the phone itself causing that. It's the forced encounter with their own mind, something most of us never learned to tolerate. The Stoics had a name for this ability to tolerate inner discomfort without running from it. They called it apatheia, which doesn't mean apathy in the modern sense of feeling nothing, but rather the ability to observe your emotions and thoughts without being enslaved by them. It was the ability to sit with discomfort, look it in the face, and not let it control your actions. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, who was also one of the greatest practitioners of Stoicism, wrote his deepest thoughts exactly during moments of silence, alone at night, far from the noise of power and the responsibilities of the empire. He used that silence as a tool, not something to fear. And it's from those silent notes that one of the most read texts today was born: Meditations. He never wrote that thinking about publishing it. It was just him talking to his own mind, trying to understand how to live well in the middle of so much responsibility and pressure. Now compare that to how we live today. We have more access to distractions than any emperor ever did, and we use that exactly to avoid the one moment that could actually give us real clarity about our own lives. And here comes the point I consider the most important in this entire video, the moment I want you to really absorb. The reason silence terrifies modern people so much isn't because silence itself is something bad. It's because silence reveals truths we spend the whole day avoiding. When you're in silence, with no distraction, you're forced to face questions like, am I happy with the life I'm living? Am I proud of who I've become? Am I actually chasing what matters, or just surviving day after day, distracted, until it's time to sleep and do it all over again? These questions are uncomfortable. They demand honesty. And most people would rather scroll through a social media feed for 3 hours than spend 10 minutes alone, in silence, facing these questions head on. But here's the turn the Stoics taught, and I want you to remember this. This discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the path. It's exactly in this discomfort that all the clarity you need to live a better life is hiding. Epictetus, another great name in Stoicism, who was born a slave and became one of the most respected philosophers in Rome, taught that the greatest freedom a human being can have is freedom of the mind. He said it's not external events that disturb us, but the way we interpret those events inside our own heads. And the only way to understand how you're interpreting your own life is by stopping in silence to listen to what's happening inside you. It's fascinating to think that a man who spent much of his life without physical freedom understood, better than almost anyone who was free, what it really means to be free on the inside. If you never stop, you never listen. And if you never listen, you spend your entire life being guided by thought patterns you never questioned, fears you never examined, beliefs that might not even be yours, but that you absorbed from the world around you without ever stopping to check if they make sense. This is the climax of this conversation. Silence isn't empty. Silence is the only space where you actually find the truth about yourself. And that's exactly why it terrifies so much, because the truth sometimes hurts, but it's a pain that heals, not a pain that destroys. Now, I'm not saying you need to become a monk and spend hours in total silence every day. That's not realistic, and it's not necessary either. What I'm saying is, you need to at least create small spaces of silence in your routine, on purpose, to train this ability that almost everyone has lost. Start small. It doesn't have to be an hour of deep meditation. Start with 5 minutes. Sit somewhere, no phone, no music, nobody talking to you, and just let your thoughts come. Don't try to control them. Don't try to force a solution. Just observe what shows up. At first, it's going to be uncomfortable. Your mind is going to scream for distraction. You're going to feel an almost physical urge to grab your phone. That's completely normal, and it's actually a sign that you're training a muscle that got weak from years of overusing distraction. Over time, that discomfort starts to fade. And in its place, something most modern people never experience starts to appear. Clarity. You start understanding better what you actually want, what actually bothers you, and what actually needs to change in your life. And once you experience that clarity, it's almost impossible to let go of, because it completely changes the quality of the decisions you make for the rest of your life. Seneca said the worst way to waste your life is to spend it entirely busy, never stopping to ask if all that busyness is actually taking you somewhere worth going. And it's impossible to truly ask that question without going through moments of genuine silence. I want to give you a practical exercise to start today, right after this video. Pick a moment in your day. It can be in the morning, before everything else starts, or at night, before bed. Set aside 5 minutes, no phone, no screens at all. Sit somewhere quiet, breathe, and just stay there. Let your thoughts show up, whatever they are. Don't judge what comes up, just observe. Do this for 7 days straight. I promise, if you actually do this, you're going to start noticing patterns in your own mind that you never noticed before. You'll notice repetitive worries draining your energy without you realizing it. You'll notice desires you've been ignoring. You'll get clarity on decisions you've been avoiding. And most importantly, you're going to start building a different relationship with silence. Instead of running from it, you're going to start seeking it out, because you'll understand it's not a threatening emptiness. It's a space to meet who you really are. And once you experience that meeting a few times, it becomes almost impossible to go back to filling every second of the day just to avoid feeling anything real. Let's sum up everything we've covered. Silence terrifies modern people so much because we live in an era designed to keep us distracted all the time. And because of that, we lost the ability to tolerate being alone with our own thoughts. This fear isn't about silence itself, but about the uncomfortable truths it reveals, about our real happiness, our choices, our hidden fears. The Stoics, over 2,000 years ago, already understood this deeply. Seneca warned about people running from themselves through constant distraction. Marcus Aurelius used silence as a tool for clarity and leadership. Epictetus taught that true freedom only exists when you understand your own thoughts, and that's only possible through silent introspection. The good news is that this ability can be rebuilt. It's not something you lost forever. It's a muscle that got weak, but it responds to training, just like any other muscle in your body or mind. Every minute you spend in silence, on purpose, without running to distraction, is a minute that brings you closer to a clearer, stronger, more honest version of yourself. And in a time when almost everyone is running from this, the person who learns to sit in silence, on purpose, gains a huge advantage over everyone else. They actually know themselves, while most people go their whole lives never getting that chance. If this video made you think about something you've been avoiding facing, subscribe to the channel, because this is just the first conversation of many about using Stoic philosophy to live with more clarity in the modern world.